Good morning, everyone. This is Josiah Pike with Alaska's News Source. We're coming to you because we're bringing a live stream of a press conference being held today in Anchorage at the Anchorage Alaska Performing Arts Center. Now, to just give some information, this is about an update on public safety in Anchorage. I have some notes right here, a little bit about what's going to be discussed. It's going to involve both Mayor Suzanne LaFrance and Chief of Anchorage Police Sean Case. They will be two of the subjects at this news conference today. Now, to go over a little bit about just some of the basic information. It's going to be from what we know about city and police department leaders, just giving an update on public safety and talking about safety initiatives. And here we go. We're going to go now to Chief of Police Sean Case. He's taking the floor right now.
Kind of lay the backdrop of the last 15 to 16 months. When the mayor took over, we were significantly down-staffed with the police department. We did not have the appropriate teams and response units within the police department to respond to some of the demands that we have within the community. I'm happy to say that in December we'll have our second consecutive academy that will be full. We've added CSOs. We have added 3 different units, the HOPE team. We have an impact team that has both officers as well as CSOs jointly in that team to respond to some of the problems that we have and challenges that we have within Anchorage. And while we were going through that process of increasing our staffing, we're also looking forward 5 years down the road at technology and things that we can start deploying and getting access to so that we can continue to respond to the changing landscape that we have here in Anchorage as well as demands that we have. Today, the first thing that I want to talk about is the cameras. In my backdrop is Town Square Park. We have 9 cameras that are now deployed, and they have been active since November 7th. There's a couple of really important things that those cameras provide for not only the police department, but for the municipality and this community. The first thing is it allows us to monitor those cameras in real time in our real-time crime center. It allows us to collect evidence after the fact, identify witnesses, identify suspects, as well as collect what actually happens on those cameras so that we can turn that evidence over to prosecutors, district attorneys, to better prosecute those cases and have a higher likelihood that we'll prosecute. The other benefit of this project and putting these cameras is we have a bit of an infrastructure problem, and it took about a year to get these cameras up and running. And so this is a bit of a pilot program to determine some of the things that we needed to do so that we could put cameras in other public spaces, increase safety, increase evidence collection in other areas. After we went through this project, I'm happy to say that we will be able to add cameras in other areas much quicker than the approximate year that it took to add the cameras into Town Square Park. These cameras will be live feeding to our real-time crime center that's in our Elmore location, and this is just a sign of some of the things that are going to be coming, not just adding cameras to other public spaces, but also having real-time feeds in our real-time crime centers in some of our business districts that have been experiencing things like retail theft and trespass, nuisance crimes that's impacted their businesses as well as residents of Anchorage. And with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I want to start by thanking Chief Case and everyone in the Anchorage Police Department for their commitment to our community. Thank you. From day one of my administration, public safety has been my top priority. Safety is the foundation of a thriving community. It's the assurance that allows a small business to open its doors and then keep those doors open. It's what allows families to walk their neighborhoods without fear. It's what helps our young people grow up with opportunity. Downtown is our shared living room. It's where we gather, where we celebrate, and where we build community. Let me be clear on our commitment. We are going to ensure that downtown Anchorage is a safe, welcoming, and thriving place for every single person who wants to shop, dine, work, or simply enjoy our public spaces. As we start the holiday season, I want our downtown bustling. We have so many events to look forward to in the next 6 weeks, but I know we need to work harder to make downtown safe for everyone. To make sure downtown is safe, we are equipping the police department with the tools they need. We know that Town Square has been a hotspot. That's why we've installed cameras, which APD is now monitoring. And we know that retail theft is a major concern for many businesses. That's why APD has conducted a targeted enforcement effort that has led to the arrest of over 60 individuals. This focus on retail theft will continue through the holiday season. I commend Chief Case and the APD team for their incredible work so far. The Chief will speak in more detail about these efforts next. In short, our message to those who would engage in criminal activity downtown or anywhere in our community is clear. Dangerous and illegal behavior is unacceptable. We will hold you accountable. That means prosecuting, not dismissing cases, and getting convictions. And so here's an example. If you look at the third quarter of this year compared to last year, our convictions have gone up 60%. Our investment in downtown goes beyond policing and prosecution. We're investing in public art, bringing life back to Old City Hall with the Downtown Public Library branch, and rebuilding both Town Square and Pratrovich Park to make them safer and more inviting. And we're hosting many wonderful events to bring residents and visitors downtown. Personally, I'm looking forward to the annual tree lighting ceremony after Thanksgiving and First Friday on December 5th. The safety of Anchorage residents remains our #1 priority. So come downtown, support local businesses, and enjoy the holiday season. Thank you all again for being here today. I'll now turn it over to Chief Case.
The second initiative I want to talk about is our retail theft detail. We started a retail theft detail in late September, and what that means, we assigned 2 officers specifically to look at locations where we have a lot of calls for service and high levels of retail thefts. As the mayor mentioned, we've had over 60 arrests, many of those from chronic offenders, multiple drug seizures, and those arrests involved over $58,000 worth of merchandise that was taken, most of which has been recovered for those merchants. I want to thank Officers LaFleur and Coates, who are assigned to that detail, and they'll continue working on that detail through the end of the year. I want to give just one example of the details that they organized to focus on retail theft. And the importance of retail theft is we're finding that that crime is involved in much larger crimes. An example, in October, along with Swing Shift Patrol in Tacotney Commons, we ran a 4-hour detail. And in that 4-hour details, not only did we make arrests and recover merchandise for shoplifting, we also recovered stolen firearm, stolen vehicle, had multiple drug seizures, and arrests for 3 outstanding warrants. And so retail theft is going to be the focus that's going to impact crimes across the board. Captain Nolder of the Crime Suppression Division and Captain Carson of Patrol will be leading these efforts through the end of the year. We will also have increased patrols in and around the shopping areas throughout Anchorage throughout the holiday season. We want to make sure that our businesses, as well as those shopping throughout the holiday season, see a large police presence and are comfortable and safe as they do shopping. Before I turn it over for questions, I do want to remind everyone that we have a public-facing dashboard as it relates to the camping ordinance, where you can monitor each month the number of arrests, the number of folks that comply with the ordinance, and the number of individuals that are accepting services. And with that, I want to thank the mayor for all our support, and the assembly for supporting some of the technology that we will be deploying here in the next year. And thank you all for coming. With that, I'll take some questions. Yes, ma'am.
I'm curious if you said the retail theft will be through the end of the year. Does that mean it will not continue after the new year, after the holiday season?
Yeah, great question. So the retail theft detail isn't just focused on making some arrests. We're also working with the businesses, ensuring that when they're making arrests, stopping individuals in their store, they're properly documenting, they're properly collecting evidence, really trying to help them so that when they call us, January and February, March, they're better prepared to hand over cases. We also have some technology that's online right now where they can share information with the police department. And so, establishing that relationship so they can better transfer that information to us is part of that process as well. So it's not just about the arrest, that's important, and it's about kind of continuing that relationship on so we don't have to spend as much time and it becomes really more of a two-way partnership. Yes, ma'am.
Here's a couple things about where, you mentioned there might be some more public cameras deployed, where and when those might be, and then your last reference to having some sort of security sharing agreement with businesses. Can you just elaborate on what that's about?
Sure. So I think the first park that we're looking at right now is Patrick Park to determine if it would be beneficial to place cameras up in that park. We certainly have had concerns in that park area. We're doing some things outside of the camera initiative, as the mayor's already mentioned, in that space to make it more activated. And so that would probably be the next park that we potentially we'd see cameras in. Several months ago, we also talked about potentially some of our trail system and putting cameras in some of our areas of our trail system that we get a lot of concerns from those that use the trail system a lot. So we're looking at adding cameras to those areas as well. On the technology piece, so part of the technology contract that the Assembly approved about a month ago is a program called Aura. That particular program is designed for business owners. Business owners in the city already have had that program, and that allows businesses to share information between themselves. So if you have a chronic person that is committing theft, one business will be able to share that information with another business to help them potentially prevent future shoplifting from that person. Is one example of how they can use that technology. Part of that technology piece that we got about a month ago, we also now have access to that. So what that allows is if you're a business and you contact someone for theft, even if they leave the store, so now they're gone, they can transmit their reports, their photos, any of the evidence that they have directly through us, and that will allow a detective to take that case, review the case, apply for a search warrant, or an arrest warrant, and then have an arrest warrant in the system, and then we can go look for that individual on that particular arrest warrant. So it really streamlines the process both for the business as well as for us. Right now it requires an officer to respond to the scene. That takes significant time from patrol level officers. They're on scene for a period of time. It's a big delay for the businesses right now, and so this just makes that process a lot more streamlined.
May I have one follow-up?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have the staff, the personnel to be monitoring cameras here, Patrick Park, trail system? I mean, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, also a great question. So right now we have one employee, so 40 hours a week, staffing the Real-Time Crime Center. And over the course of the next couple of months, we'll be creating 3 new positions for the Real-Time Crime Center, and then staffing those 3 positions. Once the Real-Time Crime Center is fully staffed, or what we consider fully staffed, we'll have 4 officers that will be staffing it, as well as 4 members of our professional staff, so a total of 8. So think about 2 individuals inside the Real-Time Crime Center at the same time. So we've got 1 now. We're hoping into first quarter, into second quarter of next year, we'll have the 3 additional, and then we'll continue to add staffing as staffing comes online for us.
What sort of participation have you gotten from businesses with sort of the sharing of their cameras? I know this is kind of a new initiative, but can you sort of ballpark, the level of response you've gotten for businesses in sharing that footage?
Yeah, so I had a meeting just yesterday with one of our local businesses on how we get access to the information, and we start sharing the use of that Aura data and information. So that is, right now, that's an ongoing conversation and topic since we just got access to that technology ourselves. But so far in the conversations that we're having, not just with information sharing or access to cameras or having the 2 officers meeting with the businesses and educating them and helping them on how they can help themselves and then how we can also help them. Kind of all of that has been started late September and is continuing. The technology piece, that's a newer conversation. So far, the welcome has been great. The businesses obviously want the help and support, want to see law enforcement, and want want to see less theft at their facilities.
Is there like a number of how many businesses have shared footage, or has that not happened yet?
That is something I can get to you, how many we have that are already sharing. I can get that to you later.
Why did it take a year to install cameras?
So I mentioned infrastructure. So we have to look at electricity that's available to operate the cameras and where the electricity is coming from. Looking at whether or not we're going to use cellular data or we're going to have hardwired. So these cameras that are behind us right now, they're all hardwired and they're connected to the internet service, if you will, at City Hall. And that was kind of the plan that we used moving forward. We had to purchase all the equipment to do that. The next project that we'll work on will be with cellular data. So we'll try a project with that. But getting the services, putting the wiring up, getting the modems, that's a new project for an outdoor. So that took time. You had to go through the procurement process, and we just didn't have that available in Town Square Park, opposed to other cities where it's readily available. Yes, ma'am.
I'm curious about the privacy implications of having cameras around the city, and I'm wondering what level of crime you're going to be looking for on those cameras. Like, should citizens be concerned about getting ticketed for jaywalking because it was on the camera? Like, where is that threshold for enforcement? What are you looking for?
Here in Alaska, privacy is always the top concern for everybody, for sure. First of all, there's no secrets here. We're telling people where the cameras are. The top priority is have the cameras be a deterrent. We'd love there not to be crime, and we don't have to have a crime to be committed before we use the information in those cameras. So I think that's step number one. The second thing is obviously the higher level of crime, the more we want to use the cameras for. We're not going to be using cameras for things like jaywalking, but there are certain nuisance levels crimes that impact businesses, that impact people that are using our parks and our public spaces. And so, I'm not going to say that we're not going to use it for lower level crimes. It really depends on what impact those crimes are having, on the public space, the businesses, and the communities.
Can you give examples of those nuisance level crimes?
So disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct just by its level of offense in the municipality is considered a lower level, misdemeanor crime, and A and B misdemeanor in some cases. So some of those crimes only have a maximum of 6 months in jail if you're convicted and got the full sentence. And so those types of yelling, hollering, creating a loud disturbance in a public space, maybe challenging someone to fight, which is considered a lower level nuisance crime that discourages people from using those spaces. These cameras can be used for those types of crimes because, again, it does discourage people from using the spaces.
So it's about public safety and encouraging the use of that public space. That's one of the top priorities for the cameras.
Absolutely. I think if there's one thing that Anchorage has that at least everybody here knows and loves is our public spaces, something that we use. Our trail system is probably better than anywhere else in the country, and so our people that work, live, and play here love to use our public spaces. So it's about their safety and access and ability to use and take advantage of those spaces. Yes, ma'am.
I'm interested in the trail cams. Do you have the hardware? Has that been funded? Is it here? Is this something that could happen soon?
That is going to be a little bit later. We would use cellular data. One of the challenge on the trail system is powering the cameras. So there are some options for that. We do not have that technology purchased. That technology is probably going to see something go before the assembly before we make a level of purchase to that extent. You're probably also going to see some communication back and forth, not only with the media, but also with the assembly in public forums, because again, adding cameras to any public space, there's a level of concern. And so before we would add those cameras, there would be some dialogue leading up to that. All right, well, I appreciate everyone for showing up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, you just heard from Chief of Police, Anchorage Police Sean Case, and Anchorage Mayor Suzanne LaFrance talking a bit about public safety initiatives in Anchorage. Now, just to recap a little bit of what we just heard, some of the bigger pieces of information from that press conference that began at about 9 a.m. today. that Chief Case spoke a little bit about the 9 cameras that have been placed in Town Square. We covered that before on Alaska's News Source in Town Square Park, and that at this time the cameras are mostly used for identifying witnesses and suspects, or at least that's sort of the goal with them, and that they're looking to add cameras with real-time feeds to the real-time crime center is the term that Chief Case used to describe it. At the moment they have 1 employee, but they're looking at sometime in the early part of next year in the first or second quarter to staff with at least 3 more employees. Now to go over a little bit more, the mayor says that she's looking to ensure the safety of downtown Anchorage and identified Town Square as a hot spot where they want to make sure that crime is under control in that area. Now, some other details that were in this press conference that you just heard are that these cameras, when discussing the idea of cameras being placed in public spaces, the chief said they would not be hidden or secret. So that's one thing that he mentioned when talking about the potential for more cameras. They also mentioned that increased patrols around Anchorage businesses will take place during the holiday season, identifying the holidays a time period where crime can be a threat to many businesses in the area, so looking to keep control of that. And those are just a few of the main takeaways from this press conference that we just heard today on November 13th, Thursday, November 13th. We just heard from the Chief of Anchorage Police, Sean Case, and Mayor of Anchorage, Suzanne LaFrance. So that's pretty much most of the information we have now, but of course, when any new updates on any of these initiatives come, we will update you on our website, alaskasnewssource.com. Thank you for tuning in today and hearing from the Chief of Police and the Mayor of Anchorage and getting a bit of follow-up discussion on that. As we mentioned, we will update with any of these, we will update this story or these stories with any new information when it should come in. So thank you for tuning in today. This has been Alaska's News Source, a press conference with Chief of Police Sean Case and Anchorage Mayor Suzanne LaFrance on public safety in Anchorage. Thank you for tuning in today and have a good day.